I'm finding this whole situation with Forrest and his mother absolutely diabolical, especially when it comes to the level of entitlement. But let's not waste time. Let's get into the nitty and gritty of what's happened in this week's episode regarding Sheena and Forrest, and also his mother, Molly.
We are moving in the right direction. Everything is going to change. I think she's not going to have to need to lie.
And his family want me to stop giving money to my family so I can save for mine and for his future. It is my culture to help my family financially. So,
You know, the lies, the betrayals, whatever you want to call it, continue. He thinks that now things are out in the clear, that, he can now finally be in a position where him and Sheena, well, let's say Sheena, can start saving properly because she's no longer going to give money to her family. But little does he know that it is literally mandatory to give money to the family. But again, that's another lie, another piece of information that was withheld by Sheena. And this is the same man that wants to trust her?
I am stuck in the middle of both worlds.
There are some things with your autism that it causes, right? And one of them is having trust, so much trust.
You see, I'm not going to say that this information is not true, but from my knowledge, from working with people with autism, even doing a course in autism, trust isn't the actual thing that I was taught about. It's not the case of the fact that people who are on the spectrum trust people easily or they love people easily. To be fair, most of the time, they don't even want to know anyone. I mean, at least when they're younger anyway. When they get older, things change. But the older that, somebody on the spectrum becomes, the more that they want to try and fit into society. So therefore, they are more inclined to believe anything that anybody tells them. And believing someone isn't the same as necessarily trusting someone. And I say that because, you see, when it comes to trust, that is something that you build over time because people are telling you things that are true, telling you things that are not lies. So when it comes to people on the spectrum, not all people, but from my understanding, they like to believe what they are told. Not because they trust the person, it's because they don't see a reason why said person would lie to them. Okay? And also on top of that, the reason why they want to believe it is because they want to feel like they are now being welcomed into society by other people that may not be neurodivergent or on the spectrum in particular. This is something that I just feel like had to kind of be spoken about a little bit because I don't really want there to be misinformation given out by Molly. Now, like I said before, I'm not saying that she's not telling the truth, but I'm just letting you know the breakdown of how it usually works for some people on the spectrum. Because, yeah, I don't think trust is it, but we continue. Let's get into the nitty and gritty of this whole situation.
That I could look at people the way that you're able to, but that can open the door to you getting hurt.
What's making me emotional right now is the thought of not having her in my life anymore.
You see? And this is why I make the point that I made, because you see, he's more concerned about not having her in his life anymore. And for me, that says that he's concerned about the fact that he doesn't want to have to restart and reconnect with somebody else. Again, now don't get me wrong. Everybody in this world, for the most part, never wants to restart or begin something new with anyone for the most part. But there are many of us in this world that understand that it is sometimes better to restart with somebody else and to just take time out by ourselves rather than continue being in a relationship with somebody that is not good for us. Now, here's the thing. There are people in this world that, because they lack self-esteem or they lack an understanding of certain things in life, they believe that once they find somebody, that person has to be it. It's just not allowed to not be it. For anybody that has seen Match Me Abroad and have watched Harold, we have seen that each and every time Harold has gone on a date with any single female, he has tried to latch onto them from the very beginning without even knowing them. Any woman that gives him attention, he wants it. This man is a similar situation because he's also on the spectrum as well. It's more of a case of where it's not the case of where he loves you. And I'm not saying he doesn't. It's the case of he doesn't want to have to restart, finding someone again and hoping someone else is going to accept him for who he is. You see what I'm saying? That's what it comes down to. And that's why he's more concerned about not having his life, if you ask me. Just pay attention to these details, okay? Come on now. Like I said, Harold exposed these things. And that's why I say trust isn't the factor. Harold can't go on a date and trust every single woman straight away dates him. No, he's just like, I just hope she likes me, man. I just hope she wants me. But anyway, and also he will overcompensate with said things. But let's continue with this guy, because this guy overcompensating definitely isn't one of his traits, though, to be fair. But we'll get into it in a minute.
It really hurts me deep in the core.
Our custom here in the Philippines, a foreigner who wants to get married to a local here, who want to spend,
I mean, listen, I can understand the dad's point of view here, saying that usually if it's the foreign person that wants to come here and marry our daughters, well, then they have to be, because they're the ones that want to marry my daughter, then obviously they have to be the one that's going to be spending the money, which, to be fair, I can understand. I can understand it. It can be subjective, but I can understand it. But let's continue.
But she and I had a conversation where we decided that both of our finances would be put into a shared account.
that is when you both. I think the only time, I think the time that it becomes like that is when you both married.
First and foremost, the dad's not lying. I feel like it does make sense for people to join accounts once they are married. Either one, when they're married, or two, when they're living together. Those are the two times people should definitely join accounts, all right? But to join the account, doesn't Forrest need to have a job? To have a joint account, doesn't Forrest need to have an income? I'm not saying you can't make a joint account without having a job or without having an income. What I'm trying to say is, what is the point of them having a joint account if he's not even going to be putting that much money into the account? If the money that's going to be coming into the account is predominantly going to be Sheena's money. You see the level of entitlement here? The level of entitlement. He's out here talking about we should have a joint account. But there is a flip side regarding having a joint account. Let's get into it.
You're not married.
The reason why she was saving the money in the first place is because we need to have a certain amount in the account to even be considered for a visa. And
Bing, 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 bingo. So here's the thing. Because Forrest obviously hasn't got a job, he hasn't got an income that's going to be sustainable. He hasn't got an income that's going to allow him to sponsor someone from a different country. So how do you manipulate the system? You make sure that you both have the same account, and as long as Sheena's putting money in the account, it's going to make it look like Forrest has got money coming in, and therefore it's going to make the account look very, very strong. So therefore, when he applies for a visa for her to come to America so he can sponsor her, they can say, look, this is the money that we have here together, right? This is the money that we have saved together. Meanwhile, he's going to be putting in barely a freaking penny. That is the real reason why he wants that bloody joint account, okay? And also on top of that, to also spy and see if the parents are taking money out of it too. But, buddy, in case you didn't know, which you still don't know, it is mandatory, unfortunately, for you, and I guess for Sheena's situation, that money must be paid to the parents for family or whatever cultural reasons. But then that's the spot right there. That's why the money means so much to him and his mother, or especially to him. But the entitlement to try and have control over her money is crazy work. Crazy work. And I'm saying it's crazy work from, what's his name again? I've been saying his name about 10 times and I forgot his name. Why my mind gone blank? From Forrest, that's the one, yeah. It's crazy. But anyway.
I just wanted to make sure she has enough in there.
So that is very interesting that Sheena's dad doesn't want Forrest to have access. He shouldn't have the right to dictate how the account is, and Forrest needs to.
But Forrest also shouldn't have the right to dictate it either, and nor should you, Molly.
Watch the account.
Trust me. So from every week as possible, I could text my account for Forrest. I mean, the amount that I've been saved, just to be having peace of mind for you guys.
Talk about unhealthy. The fact that they're now in a position where Sheen is like, well, obviously you can't see my account, because my dad said no, which to be fair, respectful, does make sense. So I'm going to just screenshot my savings every week to show you. I'm sorry, but if you two don't have trust when it comes to the financial side of things, why the hell are you together here? She now has to show you proof that she's saving? Come on now. Come on. That's more than proof to say that you two shouldn't be together anymore. Or more than proof to say that you need to have a serious, deep conversation about where the hell the place is going. The question is, how many years has he waited for her to save money and it hasn't worked out? And also, in those years that he's waited for her to save money and she hasn't really been saving the money, or she has but been taking by the family, in those years, how many years has he tried to actually go and get a job and actually earn money to be able to contribute to this savings account anyway? Too busy focusing on her saving money and her dad taking money out of it, rather than him focusing on getting a job and saving money as well. We're waiting for Sheena. What a man you are. And the fact that he has said it multiple times in this season that, well, as a man, I will be providing for her. When she comes to America as a man, I will have to get a job. Why haven't you got a job this whole time to help with the savings of this account? Come on now.
It doesn't make sense, Forrest, that Sheena's dad has such control over Sheena like that, being that she's a 40-year-old woman.
I mean, listen, Molly may have a point there, but at the same time, despite the fact that your son is on the spectrum, why do you feel the need to have to accommodate him wherever he goes? You have to escort him wherever he goes. Why couldn't you let him go on his own? You see what I'm saying? I mean, Harold has been traveling Europe all by himself. You know what I mean? Trying to find love. And now it's Florida Dana trying to find love. You know what I mean? So, yeah. And also on top of that, at least Niles and Harold actually have jobs. They don't use being on the spectrum as an excuse to not have a job. Yeah, that part. So, Sheena, how about, Molly, how about you focus more on getting your son having a job and focus on him continuing to have more independence away from you, rather than you worrying about what Sheena's doing with her money and how her family wants to go about it. That's their choice. But ultimately, Forrest and Sheena really has to think long and hard about this relationship. But hey, based on the preview for next week, it looks like he's going to be staying in the Philippines for a little bit longer though, which is quite interesting. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. With that being said, don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.